Crude oil is news once again, which is a surprise to absolutely no one who's watching the markets these days. Crude oil, as of today, is down almost 10%, 9.5%. Why? Well, apparently, President Trump said, no, we're going to pause blasting Iran, and that sort of cooled things down a bit. Also, this floating around is this idea that maybe there's some negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. U.S. says there is, Iran says there isn't, trying to involve some other countries, Russia notably, to maybe be a mediator between that. Who knows? Okay, so the only people that would know anything are way higher up than I am, certainly. Maybe the president, maybe somebody over in Iran. I don't know anybody else. I'm just a trader. So what I see is a big sell-off in crude oil, which is not really surprising for one big reason. Watching the price over the past few weeks, since the conflict with Iran started in late February, crude oil, yeah, it touched the 100 handle. It went up to 100 whatever. Looking at this chart, this spike here. Got up to, what's the high print on this? Let's see. High was 113, but it didn't stay there. And I think that's important. In the past, when we've seen, big events in the crude, problems with OPEC or somebody shooting missiles over there, we've seen oil go up to 110, 120, 130 and stay there. We didn't see that this time. Why? Not entirely sure why, but what are the facts? What are the facts? Well, there was as much chaos around oil, whether it was the U.S., and Israel bombing them, shooting missiles at Iran, Iran responding, shooting missiles around at the other neighboring countries who also produce oil, threatening to close the Straits of Hormuz. All of that could not reliably keep oil above $100 a barrel. Why? Personally, I just think there's way too much money held up in oil. Most of the oil that flows through the Straits of Hormuz, for example, goes to Asia. Japan, South Korea, China needs that oil. And other things as well go through that. Agricultural products, things like that. The other big point is, so there's on the demand side. On the supply side, all the big oil producers, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all those people, export through the Straits. Way too much money being held up, not being made if oil isn't flowing through the Straits of Hormuz. Then you get the bankers and insurance companies in London who lease the ships, insure the shipments, all that money held up, not doing anything. Nobody wants that. So any attempt to sort of ease the pressure, even if Iran says nothing's happening, even if the United States still is backing away slightly but isn't promising to end the conflict, that was enough, obviously, to send crude oil prices down sharply. What's interesting is looking at the options right now. So let's just stick in, CL is the future, is the crude future. Let's go into the options for a second and let's go out to the April's, the expiration of the May contract, the CLK 6. Open these up and see where we're at. So with the future at 87, let's say 87.50. 87.50 is the strike. Let's look at the skew. Well, all I do for this is look at an out-of-the-money put and compare it to an out-of-the-money call that is the same number of points out of the money. So if I'm using 87.5 as the strike price, let's go down 2 points. The ask price on the 85 halves are 705. Now let's go up 2 points to the 89 halves, 738. So the skew again is pointed towards the upside, 744 versus 702. The calls are obviously more expensive. What I saw back on Friday and overnight was that the puts We're trading over the calls. That's an unusual circumstance for first of all crude oil, but any physical commodity where the risk is a shortage, the risk is a supply scare. Prices spike up. So what is this telling me? Well, the bias again in crude oil is to the upside. That's what the options say. That's what the option skew says. Does that say where it's going? Absolutely not. It just says where the market sees the greater risk. On the other hand, I don't know if crude oil would have enough to sustain another rally over $100. Maybe, right? So that aside, there's enough premium in these options that if you wanted to speculate, let's say you were bullish on crude oil at 87.63. I could go in here, you could go in here. Let's say sell the, I'm looking for an option that has maybe a 65 to 70% probability of expiring worthless. Let's go to the 77s. Let's see what kind of credit we get for selling a put spread in here. So selling the 77s, buy the 76s. This is a short put vertical, a bullish trade. Not bad. Okay, so it has a theta of $6.37, max profit of $3.30, max loss of $6.70, collects a decent credit. But again, this is assuming that there's going to be there's a floor to oil, right? I don't think there's ever an actual shortage of oil. I think there's plenty of supply all over the place. The hard part is getting it to where it needs to go. If the Straits of Hormuz is kept open, and I think about 20 million barrels flow through the Straits every day, which is not insignificant. It's a lot of oil. But again, all oil sort of flows into the global market. Is there going to be a floor in the price of oil if there's still tension around there? Yes, there is. So if you're bullish, that's the case you're making, that this, whatever ceasefire or truce you might want to call this, won't stick, that somebody's going to pull the trigger and blast Iran's, Tehran again, or the oil fields again. It's going to send oil higher. On the other hand, with the strength in the dollar, there could be some profit taking. The producers, the oil producers, see a rally in the dollar, say, hey, I can sell my oil at a slightly lower price and collect as much revenue because of the spike in the dollar, hence petrodollars, right? And so that's why if you wanted to consider a bearish trade, I'd get that too. So go back and do the same thing. So, let's say sell the 94s, buy the 95s. What kind of credit do we get? Again, not bad. $300 credit for a $700 max loss. Those are the metrics that I'm going to look at. So are the options telling me which way oil is going to go? It's biased towards the upside. Personally, I think oil has a limited upside, but I'm not necessarily bearish at this level. If I were considering a bearish trade in oil, I'd let it rally a little bit. Consider that, maybe look for a bounce from this level before I put on a bearish trade. Here, I might actually lean towards the bullish side, but again, that's up to you. These aren't trade recommendations. These are just ways that I think about the oil market and how you might consider putting on a bullish or bearish or neutral trade. So whether you are bullish or bearish, please use a defined risk, smart option strategy.